In this episode of the Digital Trailblazer podcast, we're going to talk about what to do in your business if you need to make money right now. So stay tuned.
If you want to build a legitimate, profitable online business without shiny objects, without the hypey gimmicks, and without the stress and overwhelm, if you want to make more money without having to be present online all day, every day, pumping out content that nobody sees and hustling DMs to generate leads and sales, then this is the place for you. Welcome to the Digital Trailblazer podcast, your online business university, where you'll learn how ordinary people start from ground zero with no influence, no email list or audience to sell to, and no business or marketing experience, and go from working 9-to-5 jobs to building successful 6- and 7-figure online businesses and all the steps in between. Learn the strategies that worked and what didn't. Learn the mistakes that they made and how to avoid them, and then learn their plans for scaling their businesses and taking things to the next level. All so that you can build your business faster and easier and make more money without sacrificing the things that are important to you in your life. I'm your host, Leah Ray Getz, and with me is my husband, Todd. Now, let's get to it with today's guest.
Welcome, everybody, to the podcast. I'm Todd Getz, and with me today is Jennifer Gligoric. Welcome to the podcast, Jennifer. I'm trying so hard to get your name right. You please introduce yourself to our audience and tell them what you're all about.
Well, my name is Jennifer Gligoric, and you actually did a really good job at that. Everybody's going to butcher that. It's just an odd name, but that's fine. And I am the host of Super Clinic Project podcast. I currently work as a client growth consultant. I also have a marketing company, but my job has been crisis intervention for business owners for over 2 decades. I don't want to date myself, but I currently work with healthcare clinic owners, so chiropractors, dentists, functional med, people that are moving to cash pay clinics, and I take them through a pretty grueling accelerator program. So think about the startups where they take them to like San Francisco and they just crack the whip on them. It's virtual, but it's 4 months. We 2 to 10x their business. And so that's basically, I'm in the trenches every single day in this economy with these buyers. And yeah, I know you can start making money very quickly.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. A crisis, what did you say?
Crisis intervention. That's what I did, but I was business. I basically would go into businesses and everything was on fire. And I'm going to tell you, though, it's not what you think. Everybody thinks it's their marketing, it's their website, it's the widgets, or usually it's a scapegoat. If Bob would just close more sales. And I'm going to tell you, anytime a business is truly on fire, it's always an HR issue. It's a people issue. You've got the wrong people in the wrong positions, paying them the wrong wages, not managing them correctly. Once you can figure that out, or at least get it stable, then you can really make incredible growth. And it's like that in every industry.
Yeah, I know that for us in our business, a lot of times when we look at where's the bottleneck in our business, what's not getting done, where's the ball getting dropped, you're right. It's not necessarily a strategy that we've done or that we haven't done or something new that we need to do in our business or a new strategy that we need to learn. A lot of times it is just a personnel issue or someone is dropping the ball somewhere. And it's not necessarily that somebody needs to get fired and we need to replace them, but sometimes it's just a change of process or what they're doing or taking someone and maybe changing their job role a bit.
Yeah, it could be a systems. Maybe the systems are not there, or the way you have the people allocated in the system, if you just would tweak it, then it becomes like amazing. It's really interesting. I was a mentor for a gaming company and I met them doing a book tour. This was back in the day. And we entered the Houston Microsoft Developers Contest. And my little team of college people, we won that. We won like this incredible developer phone and all this other stuff like that. And one of the most interesting things at the big conference before they announced all the winners, and I went to all the, the breakout sessions, they had a Louisiana, basically garbage company, like waste sanitation. And the lady was speaking and she said, we had a big HR problem. We had this one guy who was just like in graphic design or something, and he was just miserable. And we were going to let him go. But, he showed up every day. He tried. Right. And she goes, I just thought, man, there's something else he could do. And everybody's like, just let him go. And she talked to him and they ended up just transferring him in a totally different role. And she said, and now, well, he's the president of our company. Let's welcome yada, yada. And he walked up and now he had led that company to being a leader. in a completely different role. And I thought, well, how fascinating is that? They were not doing well at that time. So, of course, the idea of, well, let them go. The first idea is like, what can we cut? Right? Because it's all fear based mentality. And when you get out of fear based mentality, you have better decision making. And so I remember thinking, yeah, it was a good real life story that I still remember and I still tell people about.
Now, I know a lot of our audience are probably still working as solopreneurs. So when they think about, okay, who do I cut or who do I reprimand here, that, the finger only points one direction. So for people in that situation, well, and even for other people who maybe have a small team, there's strategies that we can do to really start moving the needle as far as traffic and sales and all those things, which I think was what we want to talk about today. What is it that we can do if we're kind of in crisis mode and we need to start bringing in sales and start moving that needle? What is that thing that we can do right now to really get things moving?
Well, I'm going to say if you're a solopreneur and you don't have a team, yeah, you do. And I would definitely start researching AI. There are AI tools that are doing the jobs of a billion people. Like Fiverr, the CEO just came out this last week and he sent a letter to all of his staff and he said, AI is coming for our jobs, not just yours, but mine. Everything that's easy, every job that's easy, we won't need anymore. The hard jobs are going to be the normal jobs, and the impossible jobs are the ones you're going to have to do. We're all going to have to learn to become experts at a particular field. And I'm not just talking about your job here at Fiverr. I'm talking about your ability to compete in your career will be gone in the next couple of months if you cannot have more output. If you're a lawyer, you need to do more contracts. And then he gave an example of AI. If you're a coder, you need to code more. And he gave an example of AI. So no matter what you do, there are AI platforms that can help you do more. So one of the easiest things would be to get that. As a coach and consultant, I use an incredible AI platform called Sintra. I actually have 12 little Sintra. It's Sintra like .ai. I paid for it. You get it on, you got 12 little helpers, and each one has its own specialty. So you have to kind of like learn which specialty, but you can complete marketing plans, everything else, and they help me just do more. And that's going to be something we all are going to have to do. So I would do that before anything. I would find out who your helpers can be in your industry, whatever you're doing. There's somebody working on it. And I would become a large language learning model prompt expert because you're already an expert. So you're the person AI is made for. If you don't know what you're doing, AI is never going to really help you. You have to already be that expert to understand what to ask it and understand if it's going off key for you, right? So AI isn't there if you're an idiot and you don't know what you're doing. Right? Because you won't know if it's right or if it's wrong or this. If you already know and you have an idea, you can massage it and then start getting incredible output. So that would be my first tip for anyone. And I don't care how old you are. Every old dog can learn new tricks and you're going to have to do it. Right? So just get over it and get your little robot overlord helpers that are eventually going to take over everything. Right?
Yeah.
I'm on the fence. They're going to kill us all, but hey, maybe they can clean my dishes.
Yeah. At least the house will be clean. Yeah.
At least the house will be clean. Right?
Well, and I think you're exactly right about that. And it's every profession. I was just watching a video from a doctor. It was a short. It was on TikTok or Instagram or something like that, maybe even YouTube. But it was a doctor showing a scan that he'd taken of a patient. And he said, AI is going to put me out of a job. I'm going to have to brush off my resume and start applying to McDonald's because what took me 20 years to learn how to do and to identify and to scan. And then he clicked the button and he showed the AI analysis of that scan. He says, AI just did this in a matter of minutes. So I'm going to get my resume ready. I'm going to start applying to McDonald's because AI is going to put me out of a job.
See, someone who is a forward-thinking entrepreneur, which doctors are not naturally. I know I work with them every single day, but a forward-thinking entrepreneur would go, look at how many people I'm going to be able to help. Because the human aspect of it is still very important. AI cannot tell, a mother who just got 2 little ones who maybe was told you have muscular, sclerosis. They can't help her navigate that, and they won't be able to. There are going to be people that are going to need to use this AI in order to help a lot more people, develop the systems to help a lot more people, and give an elevated experience beyond the insurance experience. So that industry for healthcare is really wide open for the people who see it. I wouldn't worry if I was that doctor.
Oh yeah. Well, and he was being very lighthearted about it. I don't think he really thought his job was in danger. But the other thing that you said that I think is absolutely right is that you need an intelligent, experienced human being behind that AI in order to properly train it, in order to interpret the result and what they're saying, and to validate whether it's correct or not. Because AI can be manipulated. That's the other thing.
Absolutely.
Is that, and we used to say this back when other automations came along as well. When people started doing advanced automations and funnels and connecting things with Zapier and all this stuff, because people always want automation and they think automation is going to fix their business. And what we used to say is that, well, automation doesn't take a broken process or a broken system and suddenly make it work. All automation does is it takes your current system or your current process and it puts it on steroids. So right now, if you're losing money in your business or something's not working right, you're not generating leads, you're not getting sales, and you try to automate that process, all you're going to do is you're just going to lose money faster.
Yeah, you're going to automate suckage, and you don't want to do that, right? And if you do need to make money right now, I would say besides getting helpers to help you do the tasks that you are doing well, let's say you spend way too much time on email. Right. There's an automated AI helper that can screen all your emails and you can set it all up. Right. I mean, they do have that. You just have to invest time and effort and work into it, but also joint ventures. I would say become a joint venture person. There is something that happens when you start becoming your own evangelist to your cause and you start really networking with people. I mean, look at realtors and the people that really are out there moving and shaking, the Chamber of Commerce people. Every time they go out there, they think ahead of time, what are the synergies that can happen in this conversation? This is somebody I never want to talk to again. I hate them. Poo poo. Right. Okay. That's one outcome. This is someone who I cannot work with, but they seem to know a lot of people. Maybe they can refer me. Maybe this is someone that definitely can give me referrals. We could work together. I can refer to them. They can refer to me. This is somebody who I can be a client with. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. So you need to map out the different ways and think about that conversation. And when you're talking to people, you can go, oh, that's interesting. Can we do this? Can we do that? Rather than just, hey, how's your dog? How's the weather? And it's still connecting with people. You still want to connect with them on that personal, emotional level. And you don't want to do it in a way that seems greedy or rude or just, tell me how you can help me. That's ridiculous, right? The idea is really, I'm going to connect. I'm just going to figure out which people I can really love and who I can work with. And it might work, it may not, but I'm going to approach this as I'm this incredible evangelist and I really think I can help all these people. And then you start having good conversations. But part of just having that conversation and figuring out that synergy is you need to create your funnel. And you might have several funnels, like a referral person has a different funnel. Like, I will follow up with you on here. If you refer to me, we're going to have a conversation about what the split will be, like how we can make this a win-win situation. And you want that in writing. Again, you can use AI for the funnel for this. There's incredible affiliate things. If you want an affiliate, a fee to get an affiliate, use ThriveCard. That's one that so many people are already familiar with. Get that set up and say, hey, I've got my own ThriveCard. I'll set you up. And anytime you give this, you just get that automatically. You can even log in and look at all the sales that you made. And that's how I'm going to value you. Right? So have your funnel worked out. Know that ahead of time when you have these conversations. Don't just show up with your digital business card or, your website and then, oh, I handed out 12 cards. Yeah, but did you really connect with anyone? Did you ask them for that connection or ask for that sale? And when you start doing that, it becomes amazing. Like, people don't realize how much realtors can be your friend in any industry that you have. So for me, clinic owners, but this can be any service-based, roofers or anyone else. Go to your local realtors that are really good that you notice all the time and say, hey, do you need anything to stuff into your new, when someone makes a sale, they usually give them something, right? Congrats. They'll give them, the good realtors give them like a gift bag. And you can say, can you put me in there? I would love to give like a 20% discount for anyone that checks me out. So let's say if you're in an industry where you cannot do quid pro quo money because insurance or whatever, you could say, I put everyone who referred to me this month in a fish jar and we pull it out and I give a $500 gift card So if you get 10 referrals and no one else does, then hey, you might be getting an extra $500 a month for me. But of course, it's a draw. And that's only, of course, laws don't allow you to do that. So no matter what the challenge is, there is still a way to get referrals and work with people. I mean, I know someone who was working as a counselor and they did Reiki and a bunch of other things. And I said, well, what about juice places? And she's like, what? And she had like a Jamba Juice. And I said, go over there and talk to the manager and say, can you give me a deal on gift cards? I'll buy a little pack and I can give this, to patients. So this was be a way that she can have the patients get something that she knows is cleansing, that less inflammation, but then also too, will you put this for them? And now she's getting on average like 2 to 3 new referrals every month from Jamba Juice, just because they like having this person saying, hey, they really realize that drinking this one Super Greens one can lower your inflammation on something. I mean, if you get creative and you start doing that sort of exercise where you're putting that energy out there, I know that sounds woo woo and all that. And I'm a business person who wants to look at your numbers all the time. But I'm telling you, the people who put that energy out and they're tracking their numbers, all of a sudden they just start getting money coming in. And it's quick. It's very quick. The universe is interesting like that.
Well, and those partnerships, like you said, there's so many different ways that you can take advantage of those. And not, in a greedy way, but there's so many ways that they can help you in your business. For us, one of the big things is the networking and just seeing what people who are more successful than us, or even people who are on our same level, what are they doing? What are the next steps that they're taking in their business? How do they plan on growing? What are the trainings that they've been through that have helped them? And I know that we've been, for most of our business, especially early on, I think we were very cloistered. We didn't want to associate with our competitors and people who we saw as people that we were like fighting against for the same.
A scarcity mindset.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly. That was it. And we didn't want to tell anybody else about what we were doing. And we were trying to figure out what they were doing, funnel hacking them. And it was a real stressful way to run our business. But when we really started opening up, networking with people, and just really seeing, okay, well, what are they doing? Well, one of the things we found out was that what we were doing was nothing special. Like there was no secrets that we had that somebody else hadn't already figured out or somebody else hadn't already done and maybe even done better. So whatever we thought that we were keeping to ourselves to prevent other people from learning, it really wasn't that big of a deal. But we were learning so many things from others that were helping us in our business. And that's one of the other benefits of this podcast and having guests on here every single week is that now we're networking with people who are doing some really cool things in not even the same industry, but related industries. And we're able to take things and borrow ideas and adapt them to what we're doing. And it's really helped us to go faster than we've ever gone before. Now, one of the other things that we've done in our business that I think you kind of touched upon was these joint ventures or affiliate partnerships. And for people who have coaching programs, online courses, and digital products and services that they offer online, that's really one of the things that I think can really help you to get a big boost in your income when you are networked with the right people.
absolutely. Even if they're the same, because people they will gravitate to who they're going to gravitate to. But yet, if you can be introducing them to people, you still are positioning yourself as an expert in your field. And so, one of the things I do with our podcast is I'm bringing ancillary people you wouldn't think of to come together in different ways to introduce them to our clinic owners. We have over 1,000 clinics in the US and Canada and countless number of doctors and people. And they're so busy helping patients and trying to run their business, they may not understand the benefits of an IUL and how they can get that set up, which is a type of universal life policy, and use that as an interest-bearing line of credit that they are constantly using to pay all their bills, and then they'll have millions left if they just do that for like 10 years. So, but some people don't even know that product is out there. But yet, if you run a business, that would be something that you'd really want to know. And then we can be the expert bringing that to them. And then if you have a partnership with that person and people start to sign up through them, then that's just some types of passive income. I mean, and it's a win-win-win for everyone. So you can think about it. What are the win-win-wins I can get? And when you stop thinking in scarcity and start thinking the value you're bringing to the world, and you put that out there, that intention that I want to meet people who are like me, who want to help other people. And I want, if they partner with me, for me to feel like I benefit, for them to feel like they've benefit, and for the people they work with to get benefit and value so that we're all happy. And when you put that intention out there and then you actually set concrete goals for that and you work towards those goals, that's an unstoppable system that you have. And the more that have intent and purpose on it and you're tracking it, you're following up with it, the more money will come in quicker than you can possibly imagine if you're not doing it like that.
I know for us, those affiliate partnerships have really helped us to launch some of our earlier products really big and get us off the ground and give us that boost that we needed to really scale things bigger later on. And even now, we've got partnerships with people because what we do is coaching. We don't do a lot of done for you type of stuff. But we're networked with people who do done for you. And so when we get people coming through our pipeline, and we figure out that, okay, we could offer them coaching, but really what they want is done for you. We can make the referral and it's a win-win on both sides because we're making a referral. They're giving us a little bit of a referral commission. And then it works the other way around too, because they'll refer people to us who maybe they've done for you, but they need more of a system and they need more of the parts to put together and they're willing to do that themselves. So it's worked both ways for us. What we found is that the more unselfish you can be with your time and your expertise with other people, the more you're going to benefit. Now, I think one of the things that people probably struggle with here is how do you find these partnerships in the first place? Especially if you're brand new, you don't have a lot of success, you're not really networked to begin with, maybe you don't even have a big email list or whatever it is. But how do you even get started down this road to start building these partnerships where you can do a joint venture or have an affiliate partnership?
Well, the first thing you need to do is really understand who your ideal client is. So it's the very basics of your basic business plan. So if you've started, I would hope that you have some sort of business plan or marketing strategy where you have said, okay, who is my ideal client? And okay, so my ideal client is, let's say for a roofer, they're a homeowner and they have a house and they have a roof that is between this and this, and they need to get it done. And we only offer, let's say, shingles, not this, and their budget is this to this, right? So that's our person. What else do people like that have that challenge? What other things do they also shop for? You just start asking the leader questions that all stem for your ideal client, and it'll take you right to where you need to go. Let's say if you're a physician, well, I deal with people with pain, they have sciatic. Well, where do they go? Typically, they'd want to avoid, drugs and surgery. So all of those people that offer products for that I could maybe work with, supplements or different sorts of ways that they can stretch or move. There's tons of vendors just in that one category you can partner with and make money off of, right? And then you just go out from there. So you just need to make sure, and you should have already done it. Most people have already done this. Who really is your ideal client? And it shouldn't be everyone. If you're trying to sell to everyone, you're not going to sell to anyone. You want to give as specific as you want as to the type of person. And so stay away from things like here, because we have a call center and an ad group that are embedded that I work with. Well, I want them to be like Lulu Mom. They have to drive an Esplanade and they make this much money a year. Number one, you can't really target for that. What is the challenge that they need to solve, or the problem or the pain point in their life that you are uniquely positioned to help them solve? So your avatar needs to speak to that, and that'll give you a much better idea of who's your ideal client. And then again, to restate what I already did, you're going to want to reverse engineer, from that. So what are the things that person is looking for? And it'll take you right to your best joint ventures.
So as far as the initial outreach and things like that, do you have a script, or how do you even introduce yourself, or how do you get networked with these people? Are there places that you go and that you look? Industry events, like do you need to start going to industry events? Can you
Well, if you're a coach, then I would do things like this. I would go and look at coach podcasts, right? So it would be great. So for you guys, if I'm a coach, I would go, and you already have a network and you've already done the work, start where it's easy, the lowest hanging fruit. So I would go through that, right? Places that other coaches go, look around and listen to your podcast and all of that. But as far as the scripts and everything, it's pretty easy. The idea is win, win, win. And so if I was walking in, let's say I sold shoes and I'm just trying to think of like what a small business. I've made my own custom shoes. I would probably go to little boutiques and just start talking to them and say, hey, I would like to put a couple of my shoes in here. What can I do? This is what we do. This is why I'm so passionate about it. And then I would lead with the benefits of why you need to work with me. Number one, I'm local. I will run right over here and I can do this, this, and this. Making sure that you value yourself. You don't want these vendors to just walk all over you, right? So you have to have your things. So that's if you're shoes. But depending on if you're coaching or anything else, you're going to have the places that coaches go. You have incredible ways that you can get out there. There's great groups. Like if podcasting, if you're doing all digital coaching and you want people to know about you and who your jam is, get on a bunch of podcasts and give people value and talk about that. Talk about imposter syndrome and how you can help people get over that. Talk about, the energies of mindset. I love talking about ethical entrepreneurship and what that actually means and why that's important. And how that's going to change the world, especially for small businesses. So figure out something you can talk that does not make you sound like you're in a webinar. Nobody wants to be sold on a podcast. They want something interesting. So have a good story. I was homeless as a teen. So I was literally in a shelter going to college. Sometimes the shelter only allows you when you're a kid to stay in a couple of weeks and then you have to be out of it. So like there were literally times I would sleep like in bushes on campus. And then if somebody saw me, I'd say, yeah, wild party. And then I'd just go into class because what else was I going to do? And, but it gave me a superpower. I blend. Homeless people, I don't want you to see me. I don't want you to notice me. We'll blend. And it was great for when I'm crisis intervention, have to go in a company where everybody hates me because they all think I'm going to get them fired. That's why I'm here, is to fire you all. That's what everybody thinks. They're fearful to finding out where the real rot was, in that process. But, I would think that you don't need so many scripts as if you know your value. You just talk about that and then you have your follow-up for when they do it. So if your shoes, this is when I can deliver, this is the time frame, this is why this is a benefit for you. You just always want to communicate in the what's in it for them rather than overwhelm them with, I use 3.5 millimeter vinyl, on the bottom of, nobody cares about any of that. They want to know what's in it for me. So think about what's in it for them to work with me. Use that as your basis and just be yourself, indicate value, and then don't overwhelm them with data. You want it to be quick and easy, and then you want to ask for the sale and go for the close.
I know for us, one of the ways that we work with people as well is we will have them create trainings for us that we can give to our clients inside of our membership site. But then we also let them advertise their own services within those trainings. And so that's a quick way for us to get good trainings out on things that we might not be an expert on and have it really well done and done for us. But then they get the benefit of reaching our audience and potentially turning our clients into their clients as well. And so it's a win-win that way as well. Now, I know part of the affiliate partnership and JV launches and things like that, part of that is just being able to, like you said, communicate the value and what's in it for them. Part of that is just knowing your numbers in the first place. And I think a lot of people don't even know their own numbers. But that's something important for people to know if they're going to enter any sort of partnership with you, isn't it?
Yes. Well, the basics in your business is not just rely on your bookkeeper or your accountant. Most people, they just look, do I have money left over at the end of the month? Okay, I'm either in the red or the black. And that is the biggest basis, but they don't actually know their profit. So you should know and have a running total at any time of what your receivables are and what you have after. What's your actual profit that you can reinvest in the business? If it's negative or if it's not, you need to actually know that. Don't be afraid of it, because then your fear will stop you from doing what's right. In fact, if there's the number one tip I can tell anyone, it would be to ask yourself, what would I do if I was not afraid? Well, you'd know all your numbers, you would make that call, you would do that thing, right? So the other numbers are, what is a lead? A lead is anyone who expresses any interest at all, whether they open up the door and say, "What are your hours?" or they send an email or a text or whatever. That would be a lead. You actually need to know that number, right? It's click-throughs and everything. That's great. That tells you some back end for ads. But what you really want to know is how many leads are you getting? Because so you need to know the churn. How many people click and get through and actually give me some information on them to where I can follow up or they open up my door. And the second that you need to know is how much you're spending on advertising so you can get that. Then you need to know how many new customers are setting an appointment with you, especially if you're talking coaches and consultants. They have to set the appointment, how many show, and then what is your actual conversion rate into your high ticket offer, right? And that should be in 2025, you should have a $2,500 or above high ticket offer. And I actually think at this point it should be $3,000 with what the economy is. Some people will say $2,000. It depends on who you talk to. What I do, it's typically 3 and above. And then you need to know how much you're bringing in each week. If for just new people, are you getting that in full? Or are they stretching it out in lots of payments? If you have a lot of payments, you need to get other payment platforms. And there are many different types of payment platforms where you can get your money in full, even for bad credit they have now. I think Creedy is one. And anyway, but there are some really interesting places out there that you would not think. And all you have to do is Google them. And then how much you actually brought in that went into the bank. Once you start tracking that data every single day, and at the end of the week, you put it into a one thing, that starts telling you a pretty big story, right? And that's not hard to get. That's like 1 to 3 minutes in the morning, just writing it down for what happened the day before. And if you're actually doing the closing, what are the objections you're getting and how many people are you closing? Some people do a day 1 and a day 2 close. They do like it's in stages. You need to know the close rate for that. But again, this is just a couple of minutes a day. It's just an extra little thing. You write it down. But when you get that, then you really know where to focus on it. But I could take you through it, but it takes a little bit on how to take it. But really, that's the pretty basic of the numbers. And once you get that, then every week you can go, I'm going to get this number up 1%. Somehow, some way, I'm going to get this number up. I'm going to not listen to this objection. I'm going to get financing in so I can say that's not a problem. Let's go ahead and get you enrolled. We have great financing. You can just start in that process moving up. But it goes to affiliates, though. You were saying for affiliates, what numbers? That's the basic numbers you need to get. But then when you add the affiliates and stuff like that, you're also going to be tracking that. How many new affiliates came in, and those should be hot leads. So you should be able to really convert those. And again, it's the same process. Can I do a little bit better? How do I do better?
Yeah. And with the affiliates, that's so important to have those numbers. Because here's the thing, we get pitched all the time from other people wanting us to promote their stuff as an affiliate. And they're trying to position it as, oh, you can make so much money with this. And it's like, yeah, but I don't know you. I don't know if I send traffic to this link, what's your conversion rate? I don't know what the numbers are. Does it serve my audience? I don't know what your reputation is. And so most of those emails just go completely ignored. The people that we actually listen to would be someone who's been on our podcast, somebody that we've actually talked to, somebody that we've networked with. Those are the people that we're really interested in doing any type of affiliate partnership with, or JV launch or something like that. But even then, we're going to want to know what are the numbers, how big is their list, how big is our list. All those things are important to kind of have worked out before you do any of this. I think just cold messaging people and seeing if they're going to promote your thing just because it's an affiliate offer. Well, there's affiliate offers up the wazoo everywhere you look. I don't need to be pitched on that. I can go to Walmart. I can go to Amazon. I can go to, Bass Pro Shop. Everybody has an affiliate program. So emailing me about an affiliate opportunity really is nothing new. I know that I could be an affiliate of anybody I want. It's a matter of who do I have the relationship with? Who do I trust? What are your numbers? Do I know that if I send my customers and clients and list to you, are you going to take care of them? Is it going to be a good experience? Because
what's in it for them?
Yeah, exactly.
If the what's in it for them is, and you're trying to get Bass Pro Shop, your what's in it for them has to be tight. And you have to be able to explain that, or they're never going to listen to you. Really, you have to be able to say, I got this, this is why. Not, hey, take a chance on me. I'm sad. Here's my little cup. Clink, 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 clink. They're not going to do that. Yeah.
Like you said, there needs to be an exchange of value. It needs to be a win-win on both sides. And so many times when I see these affiliate pitches come in, it's totally one-sided on me. They're expecting me to promote their stuff. And yeah, I might get a little bit of a commission. But here's the thing is that when you've built an audience and you've built a list online and you've worked so hard at building that trust and rapport and nurturing that audience, you don't want to send them to something where they're going to have a bad experience.
Not at all. Just for us, that's what we use the podcast for. Because, and what we're doing is we're going to be having a summit. We're going to bring people in and we're going to personally introduce them to over 1,000 clinics, which each clinic has multiple doctors, multiple people. Any one of them can be a client. I'm not going to do that if they haven't demonstrated that they really know their stuff. Did they get us the information on time? Or they say, well, I don't have anything. That whole experience, that's everything you do should be put your best foot forward on that, because you're getting vetted on that. Just like you're vetting them, they're vetting you as well, because it's your whole reputation. And when I talk about joint ventures, just get out there, you already have a ton of businesses that you know, like, and trust, or you already know. If you're local, you know the realtor that people use. Everybody talks about them. Or maybe your realtor that you used, talk to them. If they did a good job with you, then go to them. You have all those people already. But if you are not sure about your product, if you have imposter syndrome, work on that, because they will know ahead of time. So you need to feel very clear on your value that you're putting out in the universe and what you do.
Yeah. If you need to make money right now in your business, these types of partnerships can absolutely just bring in a flood of traffic and sales and be a win-win on both sides. And when I look at some of the most successful people in the industry, like Tony Robbins, look at Russell Brunson, they're always partnering with other people to create new offers, to promote books and courses and coaching programs and things like that. They're always gotten some new partnership going on to do something like that. And that's how they build their business as multiple, like 7-figure, multiple 8-figure business owners. So I think this is something that is definitely valuable to anybody who wants to build a business.
It also keeps you fresh. When you think about Tony Robbins, you don't think of him as some dinosaur back in the day, because he is consistently reaching out to the best and brightest now. Tony Robbins was talking about AI before people started talking about AI. You don't think of him or his organization as an out-of-touch organization, and that is another big thing about when you purposely go out there with the idea of, I'm going to learn, I'm going to do that, you're staying ahead of the curve too, because you're meeting people who are like, I know somebody in that, they're doing something really cool. And all of a sudden, even if you can't use it, now you have this knowledge. So that's another big, powerful thing. It helps keep you relevant. And if you are not growing, you're dying. It's grow or die. And that's a mindset we have to have as entrepreneurs.
Now that you mentioned that, that's right. It keeps you relevant, because I know that when we put some of our first online courses together and we had something that nobody else was teaching, it was pretty cool and we ran with it. But it wasn't more than a couple of years before other bigger and better things were coming along. And we noticed our sales were declining and we were still in that scarcity mindset. And we noticed that we were just kind of being passed up. We had just gotten stuck in this spot with this one thing that we were doing. And now there's other people that were passing us up with better offers and things that were getting better results for people. And we had to play catch up. But if we hadn't had that scarcity mindset, and if we had been networking the whole time and staying current with things, I don't know that would have happened to us. We wouldn't have had that dip in our business at that time, and we would have been able to continually grow. Well, and you can't always expect to continually grow, but we wouldn't have had such a rough year trying to play catch up just because we had that scarcity mindset.
I've had the same thing happen to me. I had a course and the exact same thing. I started getting so busy. This is before COVID, and I had 3 different businesses, and I started getting so busy in this one area, and I didn't update. I didn't add the new information. I did not do what I knew I'm supposed to do, because it was still a revenue generator. By the time it started slacking off, it was already too late. And that happened to me. And I had to learn that very quickly. And it's like, oh yeah, I've let myself get slack. Really, I was lacking. Didn't feel like that. I felt like I was just working my butt off, but I wasn't being purposeful with that in mind. And it was really a pretty big lesson. We call them lessons when they're things we wish would never have happened. Yeah. Yeah. So I agree. I mean, that happened to me too.
So, Jennifer, this has been an amazing conversation. I'm sure people are in their businesses right now thinking about ways that they can leverage what we just talked about. If people want to get a hold of you and learn more about what you do, maybe get some help with this, how can they get a hold of you online?
Just go to superclinicproject.com. If you go there, you will be able to click on the facts. You can listen to me, you can click on the fact, you can get a one-on-one consult with me. I'll be happy if I know of anyone you can work with or to steer you if you want to have a brainstorm session for your job and go, how can I get some joint ventures? I'm really good at that. Happy to do that as well. And that's all you have to do is just go to superclinicproject.com and you'll be able to hook up with me in any area. And we also have a free school. So it's kind of like what you guys do. It's free. You go in there, you can get tons of knowledge for free that can help you. Everything that I've talked about, how to track your numbers, that's all that stuff's in there. And yeah, that's how you do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We will have the links for all of that in the show notes. Jennifer, thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate you being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. And everybody, good luck.
You've been listening to the Digital Trailblazer podcast. For show notes and information about today's guest, head to digitaltrailblazer.com. Now, if you love this episode, if you got some value, make sure you leave us a review and subscribe. And be sure to share this episode with anyone you know who could use help to build their business. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.